Are you worried about your WordPress website being hacked? Well, don't panic, because in this video, you're going to discover a tool currently on AppSumo that's going to help you secure your website in no time flat. Hi, my name is Bjorn from WP Learning Lab, and let's get started. Today we're checking out WP Security Ninja, and before I get anything on AppSumo, I like to go through a checklist of things just to make sure I'm investing in a company that I think is going to stick around for a while, or at least is trying really hard to. You never know what's going to happen in business. Even with your best intentions, your business might go belly up. So as long as you're trying, I'm happy. So first of all, let's skip the pricing tiers and let's go down and meet Lars, who's the founder. Didn't mean to click on that, but I did anyway. It says here they've been around since 2011, which is awesome, which means they've made enough money to sustain themselves for 13 years. Now they're on AppSumo, whether that means they're not making enough money or if they just want a little boost in money or get more exposure, I'm not sure. But they're here anyway, but they've been around for a long time. Let's check out their roadmap. There's currently nothing in progress. There's some up next stuff and a whole bunch for, not a whole bunch, 5 for later. You'd think after being around since 2011 and WordPress security not being an infinite size field, that you'd have pretty much everything ironed out by then. After 13 years, you'd think. So I feel like the fact there isn't a whole lot in progress and not a whole lot on here to begin with, I think is not a bad sign in this case, because they've been around for so long and probably all the features that are needed are already built into the plugin. If we scroll down to the questions, I like to look to make sure that somebody from the team is answering questions. So here's Lars from the team answering that one, answered that one. You'll notice some AppSumo deals where it's a ghost town. It's only people asking questions and nobody's answering them. And I'm not a huge fan of that. This makes me feel like the company is not on top of things. But Lars here, he's on top of things. Mr. 3 here writes a lot of messages. And Lars is answering all of them. Look at him go. So that's great. Answering all the questions. What I also like to do is check out the reviews. And I like to see the team responding to reviews because it shows another level of involvement. Sometimes companies are good in the questions, but they don't reply to reviews. And I think they should, at least with a thank you. And Lars is answering all of them, which is great. And then I like to go and check out their website. This is the homepage here. The website design looks like it's straight out of the 90s. Or maybe straight out of 2011 and they haven't changed it since then. That could be. But there's some content here. That's great. I like to see if there's a blog. Just to make sure there's something going on. And they do have a blog. Again, the design is straight out of 2011 or older. That's an AI image. That wasn't from 2011, I'll tell you that much. So there's some blog posts. I just like to see things happening on the website. And I also go to SEMrush and I enter the URL to see what kind of traffic they have. Some offers on AppSumo have 0 traffic until they're launched on AppSumo. And then all of a sudden, boom, huge traffic, which makes sense because AppSumo drives a lot of traffic. And here we can see these guys are doing 100, between 100 and 200. That looks like it's per month, which is not a lot. After 11 years of being around, that's not a lot. And then there's a spike in traffic here. This is also underestimated generally. Let's see if they have a plugin in the repository. WP Security Ninja, this is it right here. They do have a plugin here. 10,000 plus active installs. See if I can highlight just the 10,000. There we go, finally. So they have been here a while. But what concerns me the most is after 13 years, I would expect a few more than 10,000. Maybe that's why they're on AppSumo, because they also feel like they should have more than 10,000, but they're not really good at marketing. So they're coming to AppSumo to get more exposure. But there is a free version, which you can check out right here. And in this video, we're checking out the pro version that we got from AppSumo for the super low price of $39. What I find hilarious is tier 1 is 2% off the normal price. So it's $39.99 normally. We get it for $39, which is funny. And that gives us WP Security Ninja for 1 website. We can have it for 5. We can have it for 20, including the white labeling. We can also get it for unlimited websites. So pick the plan that's right for you. You can do it right now if you want. There's a link in the description. It takes you to this page. It is an affiliate link. If you end up purchasing through that, I get credit for it. It does not make it more expensive for you, but it helps me keep making these videos on YouTube. And if you want to just get the free version, you can hook yourself up with that by downloading it here or just going into your WordPress site, going to plugins and add new plugin, and then searching for Security Ninja, and this will come up. You can install it from there and give it a whirl, and then maybe you want to upgrade later on. So I already have this installed on this website right here. This is a local website. And all I've done is installed it and added the license key. This is the pro version. And once you have it installed, the very first thing you do is click on Run Tests. So let's click on that. There's going to be some things going on that are affected by it being local, I'm sure. Like I don't have an SSL, for example. And this runs, how many tests is this? There's no easy way to see. I'll just count them. $53 tests, unless I miscounted. And that's as of this recording. There might be more later on. And beside each test, there's a details button. You can click on that, and it opens up the details, which explains what it's testing, why it's testing it, and what your result is. And if it's easily fixed, there'll be an apply fix button, and you can just apply the fix, and boom, you're done. Let's see if we can find one of those. Not this one. This one doesn't have an easy solution, so we have to put this piece of code into our functions file. And this can be done right through your WordPress dashboard, or better yet, through File Manager. And I have a tutorial showing you how to do that, a separate one, showing you how to update your functions file. I'll link to that in the card above and the description down below, possibly, but the card for sure, I hope. For sure, I hope. And you can just copy this into the functions file and have that fixed. Then you can rerun the scan and have that show up as fixed. In fact, just to make sure that's how it works, let's do that right now. I don't recommend you update your functions file the way I'm doing it now. Click that video in the card above to make sure you do it in a safer way. I'm going to go to Appearance, Theme File Editor. I understand. Functions.php. I'm going to go to the very bottom, and I'm going to paste in that code. And I'm going to also copy this comment. This is something you should do. Even though you should edit the file through here, you should add this comment just to let yourself know what you're doing. WP Security. I'm calling it WP Security Recommended Fixes, and this is what's called a comment. This is information that you use to understand what's happening in the code, but it will not be executed. It's just here for you to be able to read and understand what's happening. So I'm going to remove that white space, and we've just copied and pasted the function. I'm going to click on Update File. The reason it's not recommended to edit the file here is if I made a mistake just now, the website would be down, and I wouldn't be able to change what I put in here. It would have been down because I would have added what I've added, but I wouldn't be able to change it. I'd have to go into my file manager for my hosting account and open the functions.php file there, or download it via FTP and make the necessary changes. The easiest change would be just delete what you put in, save it, and the site's back online. Or if you realize you copied and pasted something wrong, just copy and paste it again to make sure it's correct, and then the website will be back up. And if you're editing the functions file through your file manager to begin with, or via FTP, then if your site goes down, you're writing that file right then so that you can make the fix a whole lot faster. Let's run tests again. I wonder if I can just check one of these, because we did this one. Let's see if I can just run that one test. It did. It ran just that one test, which is right here. And now it's good to go because we copied and pasted it in. So what you do is you go through all of these, click on the details. Here's an easy one for apply fix. Have to make sure your WP config file is writable. I'm going to hope it is, and click on apply fix. False. That means it's probably not writable because I'm on local. Let's see if we can find one that doesn't require a writable file. PHP headers. I'd love to do a one-click fix. The user ID, bet you that's one click. Yeah, there we go. Check if user ID number 1 exists, which is the very first user created. And we want to not have that because it's super easy to guess by hackers. Click on Apply Fix to change that. And now we've successfully changed it to user ID 2. And you might say, that seems pretty easy to guess too, doesn't it? But it turns out most hackers use automated tools to scan websites for vulnerabilities, and they look for the number 1. And I guess according to WP Security Ninja, they don't often look for number 2. So that's great. Let's check that box. Let's run the tests again. See if that's fixed. It wants us to log in. Right, because it changed our ID, so it's going to want us to log in again, our user ID. Okay, let's run test now. We've got a little circle here. It's doing something. It's going to refresh the page because we logged in again. So here it just shows us failed still. Let's run the tests, all of them again. ID 1. There it goes. Okay, passed. Excellent. So now we have passed that test. And as you probably guessed by now, all you do is you go through this list and work through fixing all these things that have failed. And there's 50, well, what would we say, 53 or 56 of them? And then once you have these all completed, you'll have failed down to 0, warnings, might have warnings, and then mostly passed, and hopefully a score of nearly 100%, which means you're pretty secure. And that's just one component of Security Ninja. We also have a vulnerabilities scanner. This warns of any known vulnerabilities in plugins and themes. Do you need to have this? I'm going to say no, you don't need to have it as long as you update your themes and plugins and WordPress core files in a timely manner. As soon as an update's available would be ideal. That's when you'd update, because these known vulnerabilities, those are published to a database. Let's see if we can find it. WP vulnerabilities. Here we go. This nice little vulnerability database here shows us vulnerabilities. The plugin Visualizer, Subscriber Plus, Arbitrary SQL Execution Vulnerability. That was discovered 3 hours ago. And usually the vulnerabilities are published here after there's been a patch to fix them. But not everybody updates their plugins right away. And so there's an amount of time where hackers can see these vulnerabilities, and these are big plugins too, like Advanced Custom Fields Pro, millions of installs. All-in-one video gallery, I don't know how many that has. Optimal is a super popular image optimization plugin, lots of installs. Recaptcha Jetpack, you can't tell me that doesn't have 1 million plus installs. Let's see. Gutenberg Blocks by Cadence Blocks, sure there's a couple million. Exclusive add-ons by Elementor, tons of downloads for that one. And there's a period of time, like I was mentioning, where hackers can see what's been published here, and they can see the vulnerability, and they know how to scan for it and set their tools to scan for it, and sites have not been updated yet. And the site owners, like you and I, are being a little lackadaisical maybe, and we haven't updated our plugins immediately, and that vulnerability exists on our site. So if you have the vulnerability scanner installed, I mean, it's great to have it just to notify you. But having a schedule to update your plugins and your themes in a timely manner is even better, because that usually fixes the vulnerabilities that you see here. Let's go to Core Scanner. Same idea. Let's scan core files. But this is going to scan all the files that we have and compare them to the proper WordPress files and see if there's something different, something wrong, something that's there that shouldn't be there. And in this case, no problems found. We've got a malware scanner. Let's scan that. Usually this is a paid for thing, or I guess we have the Pro plugin, so I guess it is a paid for thing. 0 signs of suspicious or malicious code. I would like this to be on a schedule, personally, so it scans for malware every few days. Scanning for vulnerabilities, I can pass on that because I update my themes and plugins on a regular basis, ideally. But a malware scanner, I don't want to pass on that because that's actually nefarious, malicious files uploaded to my server. So I want to jump on that as soon as I can. And an update to a theme or a plugin file is probably not going to fix malware. So you want to make sure you're up on top of that. Enable firewall. This protects against 600 million plus known bad IPs. Basically, it's like Cloudflare. It blocks IPs, and you can share bad IPs who are trying to access files they shouldn't be, and you can track them on your site, and you can share them with the Security Ninja network and then have that updated for everybody. And here, unlike the event your IP gets banned, you'll not be able to log in or access the site in that case, you need a secret link. It whitelists your IP. So if you get locked out for whatever reason, you need to go to this URL to be able to get back in. And we can email it to an email address, or you could even just open this in a browser and make it a bookmark, potentially. I'm just going to email it to myself and then close. And then the firewall is on. Super simple. Prevent banned IPs from accessing the site. Yes, that's the reason we have the firewall. Let's see, where's the one where we share them? There it is, Cloud Firewall. List of that many IPs. 612 million. That's not the one I was looking for. I was looking for the one where you can allow sharing of your data. I can't see it right now. But if you have people, bots or something, trying to visit your site and they end up being blocked, you can have a special message for them. You can put in here whatever you want. This would be seen by, ideally, just the IPs who are blocked and banned. So you can be as colorful in here as you want, I think. I'd want to stay about as colorful as this says, but you can put in there whatever you want. You can also redirect the visitors to a different page. Those visitors being the banned IPs. There's visitor logging, which shows who's visiting your page and what pages they're visiting. It's actually quite educational, quite enlightening to see what people are visiting on your website. We have login protection. This allows you to get rid of the multiple login attempts plugin. You can set that up. You can change the login URL. It allows you to get rid of another plugin. IP handling. You can blacklist IPs you put in here. And here are banned IPs, locally banned, meaning your website's banned them, not everybody else's. That's not part of the 612 million that are blocked up here. But you could add them to that. There should be an option to share the data with the cloud. Scheduler, let's see, is there a malware scheduling? Schedule scans. Enable scans only for security testing, only for core scanner. So that's the security testing is this tab, core scanner is this one. I want the malware one to be scheduled. Doesn't look like that one is schedulable, at least not at the moment. Events, this is stuff that's happening on your website. Currently, it's me poking around and doing all this stuff with WP Security Ninja, but this would be everybody on your site, not just logged in people, but it should be everybody. Like this anonymous, that was me but when I wasn't logged in, because right around here, we changed the user ID from 1 to 2, and so I had to log in again. And so during the time that I wasn't logged in, I was anonymous and not known. Here we have settings for sharing this information here with ourselves or somebody else if we want to. You can set up webhooks if you want to connect to things like Zapier or Pabbly. Not sure what you do that for, but you can. And that's all the main tabs. Oh, white label. If you upgrade to a higher level, we saw this earlier, but we'll go check it out again. If you upgrade to tier 3 or more, you can white label, and then you can potentially use this on client websites and have them not know that you're using somebody else's plugin. And you can also connect to, where did I see that earlier? You can connect WP Security Ninja to main WP. And that is a platform that allows you to manage a whole bunch of websites from one location. In fact, an unlimited number from one location. And so you could have a high-level plan. Go to tier 4. We can install unlimited websites. And you can manage them all through main WP. So you could have 15,000 clients, for example, that you're securing. And you run it all through main WP and make your life super easy in that way. The Fixes tab. What does this do? Disables plugin editor. Oh, yeah, this is more like user error security. So where we were earlier, we went to appearance and theme file editor, where I said you shouldn't be editing stuff. You can turn that off with this plugin. Turn that off. Might have to refresh. Save changes. And now, if I refresh, it's still there. Refresh again. Disables the plugin editor and theme editor. There it is, finally, gone. So I can't get back to that spot where I was earlier, which is not really a hacking security feature, but it's a user error security feature. Disable WP sitemaps. I'm not sure. Okay. WordPress makes its own sitemap, and if you don't want to use its sitemap or you want to use a different sitemap, this is where you could turn that off. That's why you'd want that. Application passwords are when third-party apps log into your site. Like if you have Zapier set up to log into your website, they could use an application password. You can turn that off if you're not using it. Whole bunch of different options here on what you can do, and it explains what they are. You can have a read through. Whole bunch of security things. Most of these things don't hurt anything by turning them on. Hiding my PHP version doesn't hurt anything. Nothing that I'm running on WordPress or that you're running on WordPress more than likely needs to know the PHP version. It needs to have a PHP version that's high enough to make it work, but it doesn't need to know what it is. The software knows what it is by running a function, and if it works, it's the correct PHP version, but it doesn't need to know the actual number or have it printed out on the website for anything. So all these things that you see here, most of them, pretty much all of them, you can turn on and everything will be fine. And if something isn't fine, you come back in to find out which one's causing the problem, or before you turn it on, read through what it does. And if you are not using the camera, microphone, geolocation, or any other features, you can, in this case, turn that one on. And you can kind of read through and figure out which ones you can turn on and turn off. And the more things you can turn off, the less access people have to your site, the better it is. Visitor log shows IPs visiting our site, and nothing. It's a local site. However, if I go to visit site on the front end here, scroll down a little bit, and now updates every 10 seconds. Is it auto update though? Is it? I think it should be auto updating. Let's go to another page. Let's go incognito. What do you think? Did that work? Oh, it's not tracking me for some reason. We'll come back to that in a minute. Under tools, we have the ability to import settings and export settings. So all the stuff we've set up on this site right now, we have the ability to copy all of this, go to a different website with a fresh install, and then we paste it all in here, click on import settings, and the site, the new site, is set up just like the old one that you copied it from. Makes your setup process way, way easier. This setting down here is not my favorite. It says remove settings when deactivating. I like it to be remove settings when deleting a plugin, because sometimes I deactivate plugins just to see if I'm having a problem on the website. I might deactivate all the plugins to see if one of them is causing the problem. And if by deactivating it deletes all the settings, then you have to redo all the settings or copy and paste this here into a Word file or something and then import it again once you're done. But I prefer this to be upon deletion, not upon deactivation. The wizard allows you to walk through everything we just did manually. So this is a whole lot faster, but it's also, as you saw a moment ago, it's not that hard to do it all. Activate firewall, did that already. Let's do it again. Activate default security measures, activate. And we're all done. That's the wizard. And it doesn't really tell you what it's doing besides the high level stuff. Whereas when you go through all these tabs, we saw all the stuff that's going on and what it's doing and all the explanations. So the wizard might be fine just to, once you're really experienced and you know what it's actually doing. But I think when you're securing your site for the first time, you should go through and actually read about this stuff and at least have a cursory understanding of what's going on. Affiliation, you want to promote the plugin? there's some details for you. The account, this is the license key. I imagine got a public key and a secret key. AppSumo plan, license key. The public key and secret key must be to connect to third-party apps. Add-ons, main WP, free, 99 bucks. Oh, thought it was a free add-on. So it's $99 to use the main WP extension. Now if we view details, save 16%, billed annually, lifetime 300. So including WP Secure Ninja into main WP, if you have lots of clients, makes a lot of sense. But for just a few websites for yourself, I think paying $100 a year or $300 for lifetime doesn't make too much sense. But if you have lots of clients, it definitely makes sense. And that's WP Security Ninja in a nutshell. So if you want to check it out and give it a go, you have the option to use the free plugin. I lost it. Here it is, the free plugin in the WordPress repository. Just go to plugins, add new plugin, search for Security Ninja or WP Security Ninja, and it'll come up. Install it, give it a whirl. If you want to buy a paid plan to unlock all the features, there's a link in the description down below. If you click that link, it'll take you here, and it is an affiliate link. If you end up purchasing through that, I get a credit for it. It does not make it more expensive for you. It just has AppSumo sharing some of this price with me. And that helps me keep making these videos on YouTube. So I really appreciate the support if you use that affiliate link. And even after watching this video, you don't want to splurge on paid tools, you can still secure your WordPress site. If that sounds good to you, you're going to want to have a look at this video right up here, which shows you the #1 way hackers get into WordPress sites and how to stop them dead in their tracks at zero cost. So if you want to secure your WordPress site, check out that video.